there's a way to make an entrance.
This is my destiny.
It was now a conspiracy of witches.
Download Veely today.
I remember I was watching this person get undressed. I was in the bed watching this person get undressed and just thinking, wow, I get to do this. This is great. And so so I finished early, as you do when you've never done this before. And afterwards, I said, wow, we should totally go for a coffee. Let's go for pizza. Because I honestly thought and believed that when you do that with somebody, you must be in a relationship. I was very, very young, and I just wanted to feel wanted by somebody, so I kind of pushed that along. And then I remember him looking at me straight in the face and saying, no, do you see your chair over there? And I said, yeah. And he pointed to my wheelchair. I was in my bed, and he said, well, I came by because I felt bad for you. You were just a pity fuck. And I remember just looking up at the ceiling and just thinking, okay, how do I react but maintain my composure and not break down? I was so hurt because I knew people may have felt that way about people with disabilities, but I'd never been confronted with it so head on. I've fallen in love many times. Many, many times have I been in love. The trouble is, a lot of that love is manufactured. I've manufactured these feelings because I wanted to feel them. And so the idea of going on dates, being romantic, I love that idea, but I've never been given the proper opportunity to do that with somebody. Coming out and saying I'm queer was easy. Saying I'm also queer and disabled was extremely hard. Convincing people that I am sexually viable, especially in my case, where when all the men have been socialized to see the able-bodied, good-looking, muscular, white male ready to fuck, then I roll in like a big piece of moving furniture, and then they go, oh, I don't know I have no framework for this. All those pretend moments where people are like, oh, you're great, oh, you're just, all that fakeness that people put on goes away because you're confronting them with two scary truths: sex and disability.
Q&A, take 6, marker.
Hi, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Stella. And we are deliciously disabled. Can we do that again without the laughing?
Hi, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Stella. And we are deliciously disabled. Can you not, yell it like that? Think about something serious, goddammit.
Hi, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Stella. And we are
deliciously disabled. Deliciously disabled means that I deal with leg bags and condom catheters and attendance and all that stuff and all the anxiety around sex or dating or boys or whatever it is. Honestly, for real. Because typically when people talk about disability, they do it with kid gloves. They're afraid to really get in the gritty, nitty, shitty part of it. And I am not afraid to do that because it's my life. Hi, Mom. How are you? Good. I'm just at the gym for my first presentation in about 5-10 minutes. A little bit nervous, a little excited, all that stuff, but yeah. Okay, I'll call you after. I'm a podcaster, so I've just turned my radio show into a podcast where I talk about the reality of sex and disability. I am the guy that helped co-create that handicapped orgy you may have heard of that happened last summer in Toronto. I didn't want to wait for somebody to validate me. I knew that I had to do it myself. I like that I'm different. I like that my body is curved. I like that when I'm naked, I don't look normative. And I think my disability enhances my sexual identity a lot.
My question is about your photo where you show your leg bag. It seemed quite controversial.
Yeah.
And I know that it's kind of a part of you, but it's not really a part of you when you're having sex. So what made you kind of come to that decision?
Well, I hear you, but I would also disagree because when I'm with the partner, they have to take it off.
Okay.
They have to. I'm not calling my attendant care worker just before my hookup gets there to be like, hey, could you just, hey, so I'm about to, hey, could you? No, not doing that. So I will discuss with my partner, I need you to remove this and take it off, and we make it part of the play.
There's been a departure with Pride. It used to be a funeral march. Now
he's a provocateur, and that's what really attracted me to Andrew's work. He's subverting conventions that are very popular in the queer community. For example, wearing a harness, or being shirtless, or showing tattoo. He's taking the vehicle through which a lot of queer folks express their sexuality, and he's doing the same thing, and just showing his body as it is, and defying the shame and defying the stigma, and saying, no, I don't accept that I'm just supposed to be in my chair and lonely and untouched.
We need to talk about and admit that disability is scary, and we need to have social media where disability is openly and readily discussed.
Do you find that you're more successful and have a better time when you inform people that you're in a wheelchair beforehand or not? Because some people can be quite upset, and I find that it's sort of a 50-50 type of scenario is where I'm at the moment.
I have many times not disclosed just to see how the individual would react to me first. But I found that by not doing that, then I was not being true to myself. For me personally, I own all of it, all of the crippled parts of myself. So I tell them right off the bat I'm in a chair. It's part of all my profiles, everywhere. Everybody knows that I am the deliciously disabled queer crippled guy.
Also, you put up a point earlier that you're the most sexy guy in a wheelchair around, and I really want to give you a run for your money on that one. You really might not be able to pull that off here in Vancouver.
The work I'm doing, I guess it started a couple years ago once I moved from Ottawa to Richmond Hill. I had moved from a university environment where you have roommates and classes and people around you all the time to a little suburb of Toronto where nobody really comes, and I was living here alone. On my 29th birthday, I was just really upset one day, and I said, okay, I'm gonna do something for myself. I was just really unhappy, and I had a lot of stuff that I had bottled up and kept in and not discussed, and so I was sitting at home by the computer, and I just started. I had a blog called The Truth About Being Crippled, and I just wrote about all the stuff nobody really talks about. And I love that because that's where I started really telling the truth, or at least my truth, of disability. Hey guys, it's Andrew here of Deliciously Disabled. I just want to say thank you for all your donations. We're so excited about the Justify My Love second annual sex positive play party for people with disabilities.
This place looks a lot different during the day
right
than at night.
But it's a great space though.
That's good. I hope we can fill it up again this year.
And I'm thinking chairs over here for some guests, some tables.
Do we want to put some streamers, something with glitter? The party last year was like the grenade, like we threw a grenade in the public eye and said, hey, we're over here, we're people too. And by the way, one of the things that we care about is sex.
The term handicapped orgy or disabled orgy splashed all over the world because it's taboo. We were talking to people from Germany, France, New Zealand, Australia, everywhere, like quick.
Orgy, orgy, orgy. Toronto's having the first disabled orgy in the world, and I was like, no, it's not an orgy, it's a sex positive, fully accessible party. But the truth is that word got us a lot of attention, and people started taking an interest. In the bedroom is one of the places where I can feel truly free with whoever I am. It's all about us. It's all about what's happening at that moment. It's all about the enjoyment, the pleasure. And I'm multi-orgasmic, so I guess that's part of it too. There's a certain freedom in having that kind of release. I don't necessarily feel disabled, right? I just feel like a woman who's having great sex.
If you think about our relationship, right? Like imagine if we were partners, which we are, except we don't have sex. Okay.
totally.
The chair is auxiliary.
Yeah.
It's just like my blackness is auxiliary.
Although I did describe you this morning as, you're like, what does she look like? I was like, she's a tiny black woman. Look for that.
Yeah, but tiny came first.
Yeah.
I met Andrew during orientation week at university, and there was, a circle forming around this person. So I tried to squeeze through, and I saw Andrew. And I thought, oh my goodness, this guy is just rocking it out. And he has his dance and, it's very signature Andrew dance style. And I thought, this guy is dancing like no one is watching. So afterwards, I went and talked to him. I said, introduce myself. And he said, why don't, we go up to my room and watch some TV? And I was like, yes, I'm gonna score. First week, awesome. We got into his room and he said, oh, can you help me onto the bed? And I was like, woohoo, it's happening. And I kind of like leaned in a bit. And he's like, oh, wait, hang on, I'm gay. And I was like, oh, I see. And, we've been friends ever since.
Do you remember the day we were in your dorm room and what's her name? She's sitting in your room and she goes, Tanash, so how does he do it? And you go,
Come on.
You stop and you go, he's right here and he can hear you.
It's like, ask him the question if you want to
So
say
we walked away and started laughing.
Yeah, I find that really frustrating. It's like, don't ask dumb questions. It's like, if you're supposed to be an educated person, don't ask things that are dumb.
People are still asking, how do you have sex?
You should say, let me show you.
Yeah, no, I do. That's what I do say. I say, you okay? You want to find out? I'll show you. Oh, what's wrong with you? Well, nothing until this interaction right now. Like,
You're pissing me off is what's wrong with you. When somebody says all that type of stuff, it's coming from a place where they are assuming you are asexual. Or some people who think like it's an abomination.
Yes.
So it's not so much can you, but it's like, is it possible, first of all, or do you even want to?
That mythology in this day and age is so boring. Like, I'm so tired of that question. If you're really wondering if I can or not, you're basically saying that you don't think I have value there.
Right. Sex is a human right. Sexual health, sexual well-being, sexual interactions. The World Health Organization says it is a human right. But there seems to be people for whom it is denied, for whom it is not accepted. So clearly, it's so fundamental that people are asking, are you human enough? Can you participate in this fundamental aspect of humanity?
Oh, fuckity fuck. Stella.
What?
Do you have, I forgot to tell you, that Rick Hansen thing
Yeah?
is due today. Hi, Lauren. : new paragraph. The article looks great. Could I get you the bio over the weekend? Period.
I remember when speech recognition was so bad that you would have to stop between every word.
I know, and like take a big breath and be like, period.
Yeah.
Capital T. Well, that's when I learned how to type. I was like, fuck this, I'll just teach myself how to type. They made me type in like grade 9 type class, and I failed it every single time. I had learned my own way to do it, and the school didn't like that. They were like, no, your hands have to be on the right keys. And I was like, guys, look at my hands, they're deformed, fuck off.
When it's just about sex, I'm just a notch on somebody's bedpost, right? I'm just a box to tick of, oh, I've been with a disabled chick. They don't ever have to introduce me to their parents or their friends or to take me out in public. I can be invisible. I can be just somebody behind closed doors. I think there's an interesting dichotomy that happens where sometimes I feel invisible and other times I feel like a freak show. You know, like you go out with your girlfriends and they get whistled at and hollered at and I'm super offended. And I'm just like, well, I wish somebody would do that to me. Just be upfront, dude. You're hot. I want to hook up with you. Good enough. I have spinal muscular atrophy. Basically anything that requires fine motor control I can manage, but anything that requires any degree of muscle strength is more challenging for me. I have a hard time lifting a metal fork, for example, and things like that. Yeah, let's put that on. I have not tried this on yet, so I have no idea what this is gonna look like.
It's good.
You're saying that with trepidation. Wait, my arm is falling over, that's why. It smells so good. You have people doing things for you all the time, taking you to the washroom, bathing you, you know, giving you food. I really like that one. The stones on my brow will really pop under that. A lot of PSWs are very conservative and feel uncomfortable around issues of sexuality. If there's anything happening where the personal support worker feels uncomfortable, they can actually deny services. And so it's just strange to think about there being limitations on what someone who is essentially your surrogate body in many ways can't do certain things for you, or they don't want to. I've had to find all kinds of creative ways of doing the things that I would like to be able to do sexually. Koreans, they know how to make condoms. Like, they fund computers because communication is considered a basic access need. But apparently access to your genitals is unimportant.
And ready?
1, 2, 3.
Ready, Andrew?
Yep. Imagine it, you're lying in bed, this person who's basically a stranger to you comes in and touches you personally to get things done. And oftentimes I don't want them to touch me either. I don't like when everyone's down on my junk touching me, but I know I have to do it to do my day. In that moment when they're touching you, that body part isn't yours anymore. They have taken control of that to give you the care you need, and it's no longer yours.
I'm just gonna wash between your legs, okay? Mm-hmm. Ready? Mm-hmm.
That's what I would refer to as transactional touch, and you just crave real touch and somebody wanted to touch you. I was given a device, a sex toy, but I can't get it out of the box, and I can't open it, and I can't do all these things, so I needed somebody to assist me. So having to have the conversation with one of my attendant workers about, can you come in and help me put this on, and then can you give me some time away, that was really awkward because she agreed and we did it and it was okay. But having somebody to have to put this device on, well, also when you're trying to be relaxed and they're setting up for the cleanup and they're still in your space, it can be really uncomfortable. So I'm sitting there with this thing turned on and it's doing its thing, it's vibrating, but I'm not turned on in any way. I'm trying really hard to figure out how to get into the zone, and then I had to call and say, okay, well, nothing happened, can you come and remove it? And the whole experience was eye-opening because I realized how inaccessible the idea of a sex toy can actually be when you factor in all the other stuff a person with a disability needs.
Look straight downstairs.
No, that's what we want. We'll be okay with that. Yeah.
So
it's actually weird because like in the modeling community, there's a lot of people with my disability and we all have issues finding work, even though like when I'm in my wheelchair, I've had old women talk to me like I'm 4 years old and be like, oh, aren't you nice, dear, being out and about? And I'm like, I'm on my way to work. Why are you treating me like I'm 5? I do mostly alternative and fetish modeling where there's a little bit more variety in body types, but it's not always clear in the image that I'm disabled. It's nice to be able to just be like, no, this is just me. So having it front and center and claiming sexuality as a thing that's our right, no matter what our abilities are, is super powerful.
I can move that. I'm gonna move this too. And I just keep on going, on and on, on and on. I still got. Are you comfortable undoing your shirt? Yeah? Would you be okay taking your jacket off just so I can see your tattoos? That's cool. Put both hands on his shoulders. Is that okay? And then looking back at me. That's awesome.
I'm a little bit spent, but I know I'm gonna get back up and do it again. Drink slow, got 2 shots to go. Into your house and out of my clothes. Got a lonely heart, got a lonely heart, got a got a lonely heart. Love sucks, I just wanna touch. Getting them bad boys picking me up. Got a lonely heart, got a lonely heart, got a got a lonely heart.
People from within the community have said the party is stupid and that we shouldn't do it. Oh my God.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Disabled people have said we shouldn't do it. It should be like, oh my God, you're heathens, and why would that happen? Like, they literally call us heathens. It's like, whoa, that's weird. Like, how dare you? Sex is a sacred private thing and means so much to the disabled community and blah, blah. And all we're saying is, we're not asking men to have sex. We're not doing that. We're just providing a space. If you want to fetishize me, go ahead. To be frank, I'd rather be fetishized than discriminated against. I'd rather be fetishized than told I don't exist. I'd rather be seen as a fetish than not seen at all. If I really had to choose.
I don't like that. I totally see what you're saying. On the spectrum of prejudice and discrimination, that's kind of like the next step forward. But aren't we trying to get so much more ahead?
I am, and I'm doing that through the work, but society's not there yet. Our media does not show disabled people, period, but particularly in gay male media, which is geared towards sex, there's no hot guy in a chair. But that's the challenge that I've taken on.
He's not afraid. And why should he be? Or why should anyone like him be afraid? He's not afraid to literally bare his soul and say, look at me, because otherwise you're never looking at me. And if you never look at me, you're never going to see me. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to stand right up, I'm going to take it off, and I'm going to stand right in your face and say, you look at me. And you can scoff, you can guffaw, you can laugh. I don't really care. But you're going to look at me, and then you will hear me. And then the game changes.
Okay.
Good job, man. Good driving. Hey, thanks. Thanks for bringing him.
No problem.
All right. And then I'm going to, okay, I'll do that much, and then,
No, just
you do it as much as you can. Look at what you're doing. Yes, very nice. Look at you. You have a skill, you have a knack.
I can just
Try to produce your little spasticity and see what happens. Usually you have to control it. Look, it's actually getting fluffy. Push, 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 push. Don't be spastic now. Wouldn't be good. Okay, cake.
I wasn't diagnosed with cerebral palsy, I think, until I was about 1. My disability has always been a part of me growing up. It's never something that I could escape because I had the chair and I had all these things and my body was different. And so I never could escape it, but I never wanted to. My family never made it so that I couldn't do anything. I was always included in everything. I was included in every family outing, every vacation. Everything was done around, how do we bring Andrew?
I have a lot of catching up to do. You're having a party.
Yeah.
What's with the party?
The same party I had last year, the sex party.
Oh.
We're doing it again. I went to go see the guy yesterday.
Where is it? When is it?
Buddies, August 12th. So,
I'll still be here.
Do you want to come to a sex party?
Well, I'm not going to come for the reasons others might want to go for.
But you can come.
The cakes are perfect. Oh.
Ding dong.
Game on. Who's here?
Did you get me that stripper that I asked for? Is that what that is?
I didn't want to tell you, but could be. I didn't let him get away with anything, ever. And the reason was because he had to be stronger than the other kids. So, okay, what did I do? When he was little, he could pull one arm and one leg, but when he would crawl, he didn't like it. Well, do you like exercise? No. So every morning, I would get him out of his bed and put him on the floor. School bus is coming and we can't be late for the school bus. That's the thing, okay? We're looking at about, I would say, 25 feet up the hall, and then he's got to do another about 10 feet to get round to the other side of the door. So then I'm there like the military person. You're doing this, and you're gonna make that time. He protesteth much. And I stood firm. And he did it. Yeah. Why didn't I just get a thing that says 32?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
When you're a kid on the playground, kids can be cruel. And that's kind of where I learned that I was kind of different, when kids wouldn't approach me. So the feeling of being the boy in the chair and looking for connection has always been something that has followed me through my life. And it entirely informs the work I do. I think sex work is such an important part of the disabled sexual narrative. My issue with it is that I think people sometimes elevate the sex worker as some sort of savior above the person with a disability, and that's where I think the problem lies. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm very pro-sex work, and I actually think that the government should pay for it.
Right? Yeah, I can high five to that. Yeah. Many times I thought about hiring somebody, but I would immediately be met with, no, that's not the responsible thing to do. You gotta eat. $200 is like groceries for a month. So even though I want to feel connected with my queerness and disability altogether, the immediate thought after that was, you gotta feed yourself. But I have done once. And not surprisingly, I got what I needed, not what I wanted. So I got the release. They did their job, but I certainly didn't feel connected. And what I learned from that experience was that I wanted connection. So I've done it. I'm not ashamed of it, but I don't know if I would do it again.
What was the worst? The worst.
I remember a time when I was in the elevator with a guy, and I went to the door open, and I went to get out, and I turned around, and he was gone. Never saw him again. And then
You opened the door, and he turned and ran.
And I ran back down the elevator, and I didn't hear it because I was turning the door and kind of like talking to him, making weird, like, pre-fuck small talk. I was trying to like, warm him up to like this whole thing, and I turn around, he's gone.
No way.
Yeah.
I always say to Andrew that I would have been with him from the start. And so it does break my heart to see the lack of acceptance.
This year we wanted to be safe and not say orgy because we wanted to be a little bit more classy, but by doing that, we lost a lot of cachet. The last time that I was here, we were planning it. There was discussions of where things would go and blah, blah, and now everything is dead. It's dead. Press release went out this year, and it just didn't garner a lot of hits, really. It really didn't. It was bittersweet, because part of me was like, okay, they're not sensationalizing me, but they're not noticing me at all. Crap. That scared me. I was expecting, and it was like a little tiny blip. With disability, it has to be sensationalized or infantilized for it to be newsworthy. It's painfully familiar. When you are disabled, that feeling of despair and disappointment is I'm comfortable with it almost. But I know that I have a story to tell and I'm not done. By no means, by no stretch am I finished.
So, Freak Show, Invisible, which one would you choose if you had to?
Freak Show. I would totally run with it. Yeah, you can call me a freak, go ahead. You can call me a gimp, call me a cripple, whatever the hell you want to call me, great. But here's what I'm actually doing. Let me tell you. I've created opportunities for others to see me as a real person. I hope that when you see me in the chair, and you understand that reality. But you also understand that I've embraced it for what it is, and I'm going forward with it. Yeah, I know you're fucking scared, but guess what? So am I. Let's be scared together and talk about that and figure it out.